are y'all doing? It's been a long time since I got to talk to you. Today, I want to get some of the housekeeping stuff out of the way first. First, I'm glad that I'm able to get out a little bit. I know y'all are too, and we're still praying and believing, the whole Snow family, for everything that's going on in this world right now. This coronavirus, the frontline workers, the truckers, everybody out there, our nurses, our doctors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know we're all doing our part, and we will get through this. Now then, Tony and I have been getting a lot of social media, emails, etc. They want to know more about us. So we sat down and we got to thinking, well, what can we do to share our lives with everybody? And Lord knows, I hope you're not going to get bored with all this. So we come up with a plan. I hope you like the plan. Now tonight, we put it out there and said, when would you like to see a live something? We said Friday or Saturday. It was really neck and neck. So we opted to go with Saturday this time. And if nobody has a problem with it, we're thinking about doing something every Friday night, if we can, and posting it on Friday nights when our show would normally go online. So now, if you're okay with that, be sure to let me know in the comments. We try to please everybody, but we've also got to take care of our own selves and our families as well. Now then, I get to start this off with a live video, and Lord knows what's going to come out of my mouth, so bear with me a little bit. Some of the videos that you see, they may be pre-recorded, but that's okay. We're going to do a little bit of a variety. Some's going to be about me, some's going to be my sister Tony, what she's doing out at the farm. Some may be about Daddy, Gary, moving buildings, horses, gardening, and I don't know how you feel about this, but let me know. I'm thinking about reading a bedtime story. Now, I like reading, and reading is good, so I'm thinking about doing that too. Y'all can let me know what you think on that. All right, so here we go. This is a whole new area to me, so I hope everybody likes it. If not, I'm sorry. Just really sorry, but here goes nothing. I want to tell you my story. And, well, actually, I'm going to tell you the things that I can repeat. Because there's some things I can't repeat because I say it, you go tell Tony, Tony goes and tells Daddy, and we got that whole sibling thing where I don't care how old you get, you're going to get me in trouble. You know what I mean? Right here, if you're an older sibling, this is where I get an amen. Amen. All right, here we go. All good stories, they've got a beginning. And all beginnings come from a seed, and which turns into a plant that gives you roots. So I guess the best place to start with my story is my roots and the seed from where I came. It all started in 1942 with our grandfather, C.A. Snow, who, with the help of his father-in-law, Mr. Toma, which was my great-grandfather Toma, they started to move houses. There was a need, and they filled that need. And until he passed away in 1966, all his life he moved houses. And so that's where Daddy's love from it came. He grew up in the business. So, okay, my daddy's family consisted of Daddy, he's the oldest, Harold Don, better known as HD. I'll tell you a funny side note on that. He was called Harold or Mr. Snow all the years. And then we was down at a hose place getting a hydraulic line fixed. This man comes out who actually owned the store we were at. And he saw me and Daddy standing back there wanting to come in about getting some hydraulic lines made. And he looked up and he said, well, looky there if it ain't HD Snow. And Daddy's like, HD Snow? He said, yeah, HD, heavy duty. And, of course, I thought it was funny at the time. I don't think Daddy thought that was too funny at all. But it stuck. And so everybody started calling him HD. And in my books, he is pretty heavy duty. Self-made man. Anyway, back to my story. Daddy was the oldest. And then 3 years under him is his little brother, Herschel Lloyd. They called him Corky. And then 3 years under Corky was Julia, the only girl. And they called her Judy. Well, okay, I'm the oldest grandchild. I couldn't get out Aunt Judy. It come out Aunt Juju. So even as old as I am, and we all know I'm older than dirt, even as old as I am to this very day, I still say Aunt Juju. And when you're the oldest cousin, all the other cousins that come after you, yeah, they're going to say exactly what you said. So the name stuck. But to be honest with you, I think she kind of likes it. Now then, Grandma Snow, Daddy's mama. 5'2". Okay, you know the old saying they pack dynamite in small packages? Oh yeah, that was her all right. There was 8 of us grandkids, we would all manage somehow, some way to get over to her house, all 8 of us on a weekend. And if we went somewhere in a car, you either listened to the radio or you talked. You didn't do both. Well, that's okay. Grandma swung a big switch. She was a little piece of dynamite, but she had such a love for her family. Oh gosh, y'all, I'm sitting here thinking about all the stuff about Grandma Snow. Anyway, I got to tell you something about Daddy and Uncle Corky. When they were young, Papa Snow brought home a little pony, a Shetland pony, and that pony's name is Tater Chip. Well, Daddy and Uncle Corky loved their little pony. Well, now, they had a really, really big backyard. Well, that's where Tater Chip lived, was in the big backyard. They would get saddled up. They'd get on Tater Chip. They'd go to riding around. About once or twice around the backyard, Tater Chip would lay down with them. Well, they'd start hollering, "Mama, Mama, Mama." So Grandma Snow would go running out there, and she gave Tater Chip, according to Grandma Snow, she gave him a right smart talking to. Well, evidently Tater Chip had been raised by a good mama, and he knew that whenever somebody gave him a right smart talking to, it was time to get up and behave. So he would get up, Daddy and Uncle Corky would get back on Tater Chip, and off they'd go. Grandma Snow would go back into the house, tending to whatever she was working on. Good times. I would have to say that was good times. Daddy and Uncle Corky was happy. Grandma Snow was happy, probably because they wasn't running around the house tearing up what she had just cleaned up. Now then, let's fast forward a little bit. Daddy and Uncle Corky got old enough to go out. It was the rule of the house. Now, I'm telling you stuff that comes straight from Grandma Snow's mouth. I ain't making none of this up, people. Just sure as you're a foot tall, I'm not making none of this up. So, Grandma Snow and Papa Snow set the rule. When you come in, you have to kiss your mother on the cheek good night. That was the rule. That was the only rule that they had. Well, this particular night, Daddy and Uncle Corky tried to bypass the goodnight kiss and just go in there and slip off the bed. Who in the room here can attest to the fact that mother's intuition is a very, very real thing? Grandma Snow said, boys, you know the rule. You have to kiss me goodnight right here on the cheek. Daddy said, Mama, but says, then all of a sudden, Grandma Snow says, Harold, don't blow in my face. Daddy didn't want to blow in her face. Neither did Uncle Corky. Daddy was a real quick thinker. Oh no, Mama, that's rude. You taught me and Corky better manners than that. No, ma'am, you don't blow in people's face. She said, Harold, Don, I told you to blow in my face, and you better blow in my face right now, or I'm going to get the belt out. Well, game over. He walked over to his mother and blew in her face. Grandma looked up at him, because Daddy stands 6'2". Grandma's 5'2". You've been smoking, haven't you, young man? Which him and Uncle Corky had that night decided to try for the very first time their hand at cigars. Evidently, cigars are not a very good thing to start with if you're going to decide to smoke, because the confession come out that after they had tried a few puffs on a cigar, they both went to throwing their toenails up. I would have given anything to been a fly on the wall to see that. That was Daddy first and last time trying his hand at smoking. One, it made his mama mad, but two, he said it made him sicker than a dog on his stomach, so he wasn't going to do that no more. Anyway, why did I get sidetracked? Anyway, back to my story. First generation is Grandpa Snow, C.A. Snow. He saw a need and he filled it. Second generation is H.D. Snow, Daddy. And Daddy decided to follow in his daddy's footsteps. As an 11-year-old, he decided he's going to start moving then. Now, he's working with his daddy in the summers and on the weekends, much like us three kids did growing up. So Daddy started him his own little moving company. I guess I need to ask him what he named it. Anyway, his very first job was a 2-seater. Now, I don't know if y'all know what a 2-seater is, but back in Daddy's day, that's what the nice word was for an outhouse. Now, a 2-seater, that was some high cotton if you had a 2-seater. And Daddy got $5 a hole. He had to move the building, dig 2 new holes, set the building down on it for $10. Now, that's earning it the hard way if you ask me. Then the third generation is myself. I'm the oldest, even though I probably look the youngest. Ha! Do you know how many times me and Tony's been confused for who's the oldest and who's the youngest? I love it every time. Whoops, sorry about that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyway, me, then 3 years under me is Gary, 3 years under Gary is Tony. We're the third generation and very proud of it. A lot of people say, how in the world did you even get into house moving? Well, technically, I grew up in it. Other than, and I figured this out, other than the house, the very house that I was brought home to whenever I was born, and then the next house after that, every house since then to this day, I have never lived in a house that wasn't moved in and we refixed it, refurbished it, renovated it, whatever word you want to put on it. We did it all ourselves. So I guess that's a whole lot of a jack of all trades and master of none. That's what Daddy says about himself. So I guess I'll just take that and I'll say that about myself. Well, I technically grew up in the family business. Really, I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I grew up in a time where I actually dialed a rotary phone attached to the wall. Now, for some of y'all that don't know about anything, Google it. Go look it up for yourself. There's such a thing as a rotary phone, and it was attached to the wall. And if you don't think that don't mess things up when a boyfriend calls, you're crazier than who done it. I actually watched a black and white TV on purpose because that's all we had. I've taken walks without counting my steps. And I know you're not going to believe this. I've even eaten food without taking pictures of it first. That's a whole lot of the generations this day, isn't it? So I wanted to share, because they say pictures are worth 1,000 words. I wanted to share some pictures. So this is all homemade and rough cut, so bear with me. Now this first picture I'm going to show you right here. That's me. And you'll see where it says C.A. Snow, house moving on the side of the truck. But can you see to the left of the picture the words spooky? That is the name of the truck. Now, this is the truth. I'm going to tell you another story that Grandma Snow told me. Whenever I was born, Papa Snow wanted to give me a nickname. And he wanted to name me Spooky because evidently there was a cartoon character in his newspaper ads that he read that he really liked. Well, Grandma Snow threw a flippin' fit. She said, "You're not labeling that child with a name like that." So he said, "I'll do you one better, woman." And he goes out and buys a truck, sticks me up in the thing, and paints Spooky on it. You know, all I ever wanted to be was a house mover. I had an opportunity. I graduated with honors in business, typing, believe it or not, shorthand. That was really cool, but all I ever wanted to be was a house mover like my daddy. I wanted to follow in Daddy's footsteps. Okay, now then, following in my daddy's footsteps, that meant working. I don't know how well you can see this picture, This is me and Daddy having to dig a ditch in order to get a pair of beams up under this house. He's teaching me that hard work pays off. Now that I got another really cool picture. And if any of our followers out there are in Arlington, you may recognize this. This is the old Cooper house that was in downtown Arlington. And Daddy was being a part of saving history. Now I'm going to point right there is Papaw Snow, Daddy's daddy. Now my daddy's driving the truck. And here's Daddy's little sister, Aunt Juju. And you can see we had a man on top of the house. That's a really cool looking building. Beautiful home, just beautiful. Then there's another house I want to share with you. It's called the Hemp Hill House. That's Daddy and Gary in front of it. This is a 2-story that was historical to the city of Hemp Hill. However, shortly after we moved it and set it down and it was being restored for the city, some kids set it afire and it destroyed it. It's so sad. Big, beautiful home. Big, beautiful home. And then a lot of times I say, and I tell the rodeo kids, shiny and new will never replace tried and true. Now, who in here has heard about a capstan? You may not know what a capstan is. I'm going to show you. This is a picture of a capstan. Now, we had this out at a house movers convention demonstrating it. And this is a real one. And we put that building on steel dollies. And I did have, and this picture right here shows it, I had one of my rope horses that I roped off of up in a harness, and we led him around and around and around that, and a chain of reaction of different pulleys is what moved this building. Really, really cool. But that's history. Hey, and before I forget about it, if y'all are up in our neck of the woods, which we're probably about 7-8 miles north of Saginaw out in the Tarrant County, we're actually in the city of Fort Worth. We have the world's only house moving museum. You can actually see this capstan there with a lot of other pieces of history. Okay, now then. I'm going to put a picture up. You look at it a second and tell me what's the very first thing you see. I'll give you a second. Now, this picture was taken in 1954, the week after Mama and Daddy got back from their honeymoon. Now, this huge 2-story was moved out of what everyone here in Fort Worth knows as the Fort Worth Mixmaster. This house was right in the big middle of that, and it, with other homes, had to come out in order to put the Fort Worth Mixmaster in. Back then, people saw the really, really big 2-story. Now, Daddy's driving the pull truck. Now, all these years later, that's 66 years later? Yeah, because Mom and Daddy was married 66 years on their anniversary in April. That's right. This is what people see. Gas prices and cigarette prices. Is that amazing or what? What a photographer took so many years ago, which was about a big 2-story house making way for our Mixmaster. And all these years later, what sticks out about this is fuel prices and cigarette prices. I thought y'all might like to see that. That's a pretty cool picture. Oh, here's another picture I got. This is Daddy and Papaw Snow. That's downtown Fort Worth, believe it or not. It was at 401 Grove Street. Been doing business since 1942. I love that picture. They're all black and white, but that's okay. We're just glad that we have them. My family, Daddy had put on a little boat that we had years ago. You know, him and Mama was 2 Snows, and Tony and Gary Dell and myself was the 3 Snowflakes. So it said 2 Snows, 3 Flakes. This is what Daddy taught us. Value and integrity and the willingness to work for what we want. And this is what I tell everybody. Since the days of my Papaw Snow, we've moved a lot of things. And a real dear friend of ours gave us this motto many, many years ago. We use it for the house moving business, and we also use it for the house moving museum. Preservation through relocation. And oh my gosh, that is a whole nother video by itself. But I'm sharing a few things with you to see if there are things that you enjoy. Now then, like I said, since the days of Papaw Snow, we've moved several historical buildings. So I wanted to share just a few with you. This one right here, and some of y'all may have watched this. It was either last year or year before last. I'd have to stop and think about that. This is the Stagecoach Inn in Round Rock, Texas. This is the oldest stagecoach in the state of Texas. It was built in 1848. It's approximately, 178, 179 years old. 15-inch solid stone walls, 39 foot wide, 39 foot long, no floor in it, weighing in at 200 tons. That's an awesome looking load. Now I'm going to put up another picture for you. It's the same building. It's a side view. And Tony, my sister, took this one. She is such an awesome photographer. But you get to see the massiveness of this building. And I'm hoping you can see on top of the chimney here and down there, there's two water bottles. The committee that we was working for says, is the water on there to help keep the building level? Daddy smiled and said, nope, it's to keep people looking at it and wondering if it's going to ride up there without falling off. Interesting fact about how Round Rock got its name. See this rock right out here in the water? This road that we're taking this building down, that was the route that people had to go through. Now then, if you could see the round rock above the water, it was safe to cross. Obviously, that was before there was a bridge built. If you could not see the round rock above the water, it was not safe to cross. And that's how that town got its name. A little bit of history there. Oh, look at us. We're having history class. Okay, here's another one. Now, this is in Fort Worth. It's called the Samuels House. 30 foot wide, 65 foot long, 2-story. And there's no sheetrock, no drywall in this house. It is all plastered on the inside. Well, the owners of the property, they wanted to build a 7-story condo. However, the city of Fort Worth said, you have to relocate this house. It's historical to our town. It cannot be torn down. So while on this move, Daddy told me a story about a house he moved on this exact same street many years ago, way back in the early 50s. Said he heard a car coming up and he looked to see a Model A making a lot of noise. The car just topped up over the hill. A wheel came flying off, went past the car, ran up a chinaberry tree. Daddy said that chinaberry tree had to be 9 to 25 foot tall. Shot out the top of the chinaberry tree. Leaves, chinaberries going everywhere. The man stopped the car. He went and got the wheel, come back, jacked his car up, put the wheel on, took a lug nut off of one of each of the other tires. So this one wheel had 3 lug nuts on it, got in the car and left. And Daddy said him and the whole crew was just sitting there looking at him. Daddy said, you know, Donna, I've been to 2 goat ropings in the World Fair, and I ain't never seen anything like that for my life. And I said, well, there you go, a little afternoon break, a little entertainment. He said they just stood there with their mouths hanging open. Anyway, how did I get off on that? Here is another picture of that same house. I thought y'all just might like to see that. It's really an awesome picture coming down the road. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. Another thing that being on TV has given me, it's an opportunity to meet a lot of people and to make a lot of new friends. Feel like we're all family, to be honest with you. Some of y'all have even come by the office and met me and Tony, and we love it. We love it, love it, love it. So we're excited for the day that we can all get back together. You can come by the office. We've had to cancel the meetings, obviously, our watch party meetings at Cooper's Barbecue. Hopefully in the near future we'll be able to start them back up. Our Lone Wolf Snow Sisters Texas fan cruise got canceled due to the coronavirus. It's being rescheduled for the 1st of next year. Now, I know that there's a few that have said they can't make it. But then I've been seeing a lot of posts from people that said, hey, we can go now. So I want to let everybody know. Give us a shout out. We'll be posting information about who you can talk to if you want to go on the cruise. We're going to have a lot of fun. And it's still Randy's birthday that week we're going. And the theme is still Pirates of the Caribbean for Randy's birthday. So there's a whole plank walking thing that's involved. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, one thing also that the TV show allowed me to do is in making new friends, I get invited to go to functions. And one of them is called Ranch Hand Rescue. It's an organization that was placed by a task force at the direction of our governor like 10 or 12 years ago. And it's about helping young men to get out of sex trafficking. I got to be honest with you. I only thought sex trafficking had to do with young girls, and I was wrong. Boys are a big part of this as well. And the target age is 11 to 15 years old. I did not know that. Anyway, on this night, I was the guest of a real dear friend, retired Lieutenant Commander Rex King of the United States Navy. Tony and I had the privilege of redoing a bathroom for him and his wife. It turned out gorgeous. We actually have it on our YouTube. Maybe doing a remake of it. Not sure yet on that. But anyway, at that time, Rex did not have his wheelchair because he has to be careful of his knees. So when we got to this function, they went ahead and let us go on in and sit down at our table. I was told the dress for this was cowboy chic. Well, okay, we're in Texas for crying in a bucket. Cowboy chic, all right. I get out my blue jeans, I pressed them, and I put on a pretty shirt. I just kind of took a brush and I knocked the cow crap off my boots. I took my spurs off my boots. So, to me, that was cowboy chic. Oh, well, no, it wasn't. I get there and all these women, they're all dressed up in all this fancy stuff, and I stuck out like a sore thumb. But then I've been told I was designed to stick out like a sore thumb. But anyway, I'm trying to stay positive here. So I'm sitting there with Rex, and nobody else has been let into the room yet. Well, I seen a lady and some man that was with her, and I mean, she had a beautiful, beautiful red sparkly dress on, red sparkle boots, a big red bow of feather wrap, and then I realized she's making a beeline straight over there where me and Rex was sitting and talking. And out of my corner of my eye, I could see she was coming straight for the table. And she walks up, and before I looked up and before I could say anything, she says, "Do you mind if I park it here at your table for a little bit?" And before I said, "Sure, sit down, take a load off, sister." And then I looked at, well, good night, nurse. She ain't going to believe who it was. It was the movie star, Ruta Lee. And I just told her to sit down and take a load off. Oh, dear Lord, have mercy. I could not. I almost embarrassed my own self. She started telling me about how much she loved Texas Flip Move, and I'm like, girlfriend, we be kindred spirits. She's a sweet lady. Very, very sweet lady. I love watching her in movies. To this day, I still watch movies with her in it. And, you know, another thing that when you're in the public eye, you can get a lot of criticism. And you can get some people that don't like you or that want to find fault with you and everything that you say and everything that you do. So I went to my pastor. I went to Pastor Leo and I said, "Sir, I need a little bit of help here. I know what the Bible says, but I need a little bit of help here because I've got patience and I don't mind waiting as long as it'll hurry up." So there's that's about all the patience I have is right there. I said, "What do I do?" And he said, "Donna," he says, "the Bible tells us that we're supposed to bless those that are mean to us and just to ask God for the strength that we need to deal with them. So from this advice, I came up with my own idea, and my own prayer, and I'm like, and sometimes I have to use this on Randy. Okay, I'm just saying it. I'm admitting it. Sometimes I have to use it on Randy, and I'm like, Lord, you better give me strength when I'm around Randy. Patience. You better give me patience when I'm around Randy, because if you give me strength, you and I both know I'm going to need bail money, because he's going to say something, he's going to lip off, and I'm going to knock him out, and then the fight's going to be on. So I pray for patience, because Donna needs a lot of it, and all prayers are appreciated. But I've also learned that I need to keep a positive outlook. Like someone told me the other day, said, "You're so pretty." And I hung on to that. I'm like, that makes me feel good. And then I have to realize the rest of the sentence was annoying, that I was pretty annoying. Okay, but I'm holding on to positive here. I'm going on to positive. I'm just going to pull the positive out of stuff, and I'm going to let go of the negative stuff. And you know, something else that I've learned, especially going through all this coronavirus stuff, I've learned that no matter what happens or how bad it seems today, life will go on, and it will get better. It will be better tomorrow. I've learned that you can tell a lot of things about a person by 3 things. How they handle a rainy day, how they handle lost luggage, and how they handle tangled Christmas lights. I've learned that regardless of your relationship with your parents, you'll miss them when they're gone. So reach out to your parents, reach out to your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your aunts, your uncles. Let's get back to what it was, and let's remember that we should always put family first and make those memories. I've learned that making a living is not the same as making a life. I've learned that sometimes life will give you a second chance. So I'm going to take my own advice, and I'm going to try not to screw it up. I've learned that you should not go through life with catcher's mitts on both hands, because sometimes you need to be able to throw stuff back. You know where I'm coming from? You know what I mean? You need to be able to throw stuff back. I've learned that whenever I make decisions with an open heart, that I usually end up making the right decision. I've also learned that I've still got a lot to learn. And I'm going to close with this. I've probably bored y'all enough, but I'm going to close with this. I've learned that people will forget things that you say. And I've also learned that people will forget things that you did. But people will never forget how you make them feel. I hope today that I made you feel good. I hope today that I brought a smile to your face. I hope today that you enjoyed this time that we had together, because if I did, you will never forget me. I love each and every one of y'all, and you may not believe this, but I pray for everybody every night. And sometimes through the day, if I felt led to, I pray for you then too, because I believe God in prayer is getting us through everything, getting us through this coronavirus. Now, if nobody has any objections, we're going to try to do something next Friday night. I don't know if it'll be live, and I don't know if it'll be pre-recorded, but we're going to do our best to do something every week. And then Tony and I have a very special project we're working on, and I'm going to tell you, that's the word. We're helping an American Legion. I'm not going to tell you where, and I'm not going to tell you which one. We're helping them. And it's our honor and our privilege to get to do this. And I'm so excited because we're just about finished with it. We like a few things. This whole coronavirus hit, and it kind of stopped us from finishing. But as soon as it lets up, we're going to finish it. And then that video, you're going to see it on our Facebook page. Then we're going to tie a link to our YouTube. And we're going to be asking if you enjoy it to please like it and then to share it. And I don't mean just share it. I mean share the snot out of it. Because the more people that we can get this following, the better chance that we have of getting help to be able to go forth and do more things for our veterans, active or retired, first responders, whomever needs our help. But we're starting with our veteran community. So again, I'm going to close with this. We love you. Hope I didn't bother you or bore you too much. And just remember this. You make me feel good. And I hope that you will always remember me. So we'll talk again soon. Y'all have a blessed day, a blessed evening. And by the way, happy Mother's Day. See there, I get to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day before anybody else does. So to your moms out there, whether you have biological children or not, you've mentored somebody, and that makes you a mother to someone. So y'all be blessed. I'll talk to you soon, all right? Bye, everybody.